All right, I hope you all enjoyed that virtual tour. Gives you a little idea of our history and what we're like now. We've definitely grown and changed over the years, over our, long history. And, had a name change in there. We used to be called Whiscraft, and now we are Beyond Vision. And we definitely now are a place that pays competitive wages and treats employees competitively. And we're excited to have you now meet some of our employees and have a chance to ask questions. And then I'll talk a little bit about some current openings here at Beyond Vision. So I will have we have a panel of 4, I believe, 3 for sure, and possibly 4. And so I'll have you guys introduce yourselves. We'll start with Jackie, and then Lainey, and then Alex, and then Sharon, if she's on. And we will, I want you to sort of introduce yourselves, talk about how long you've been at Beyond Vision, what your role is. And if your role has changed, like if it's different from where you started, you can talk about that too. So Jackie, go ahead.
Hi, my name is Jackie Ackley. I have been at Beyond Vision for, it will be 19 years in August. I'm totally blind due to complications of diabetes and some cancer treatment. I had my dream job. I was a animal staff manager at Milwaukee County Zoo when I lost my vision and I could no longer do that. So I was pretty dysfunctional when I came here, but it made my life much more bearable. And there seems to be a little bit of an idea out there that we're treated with less respect than we deserve. And I really wanted to personally address that. I personally admire and respect Jim Curlin. And I do believe that all of the people that are here on staff are very caring people and are concerned about our lives and our jobs and our dignity and respect. I work in assembly and packaging, and Jim and we love to debate and banter. He calls me his idea pigeon. I come in with an idea and deposit it and then fly away. But I've come up with some ideas out there, and some of them they've implemented, and some of them they said, nah, I don't think so. And I do believe that the admiration and respect goes both ways.
Thanks, Jackie. Lainey, do you want to tell us a little bit about your role here?
Yeah, sure. Yeah. So my name is Lainey Knutson, and I, previous to working at Beyond Vision, was a music teacher for 17 years. And for personal reasons, needed to make some changes in my work life. And I was just looking for a job where I could show up, do my job, and then leave. And I was not successful because I grew to love this place and have been here since 2018. And I started out as an administrative assistant, helping with HR and as the assistant to our CEO. I'm now the executive assistant, and I continue to assist our CEO, Jim, but also all of the senior staff. I am typically sighted and had experience as a teacher with children with disabilities, but not blindness. And so I've learned a lot about that, and just love getting to know all of the employees here and their strengths and weaknesses and things that we can work together as a team and learn more about. There's a really atmosphere of development and learning. Even though I didn't plan on learning more in this job, I've done that by being invited to participate in some trainings and things like that. So I as a teacher, I really appreciate that constant development. Yeah, and I'm happy to answer questions when we're done. So I'll turn it over to Alex.
Hello, I'm Alex. I'm still pretty new here. I've been here since November of 2020. I am a contact center agent. I'm still pretty sighted at the moment. I do have RP, retinitis pigmentosa. It's kind of like the opposite of Skarsgård, where I, sorry about that. I have really good central vision, but very low peripherals and night blindness. Uh, I, this has to be one of the best places I have worked. Uh, is such a sense of camaraderie and teamwork that I haven't experienced anywhere else where I've worked. I've worked in uh, factories, food service, big corporations, and none of them compare to the sense of family you have here. And in the contact center, I assist with answering phone calls for Beyond Vision and routing them to the correct place they need to go, and helping out with our uh, programs we have, for example, with pandemic unemployment assistance, fresh revenue, secret shopping, and so on and so forth. I've also recently started working in the IT department here under Bill King and Tony Crapo's wing. On some days, I'm getting brought up in that, which is really cool. There was like almost no hesitation at all for when I asked I wanted to do this. They kind of just brought me onto that. And yeah, it's great. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them as well. Thank you.
All right. And was Sharon able to join? We
Doesn't
had
look like it.
not yet. Okay.
No.
So, well, I just realized that I never introduced myself, so I'll just jump in since Sharon. So Sharon Praksha is the manager at our store at Scott Air Force Base. And hindsight being what it is, we maybe should have done this at a different day because today is the last day of their fiscal year and it's really, really crazy there. So she may not be able to join us, but she may pop in later. But I am Jennifer Wenzel and I am the talent acquisition coordinator, which is a fancy way of saying recruiter. And I started at Beyond Vision in January. And, some of the things that people touched on here, I've noticed very much since I've been here. So the teamwork atmosphere, everybody is a team, everybody builds each other up. One of the people in the shot, Julius, who was on the video, he was saying when I was on a tour one day that, we all build each other up to succeed. And that's really the atmosphere around here. The respect, I would totally agree with Jackie. Everyone respects each other. There's not a big disconnect. Like, I don't think, oh, I have to go now and talk to a sighted employee, or, oh, now, well, I'm just going to go talk to a fellow blind employee. It's coworkers. Everyone is a coworker and everyone is treated well and treated respectfully. We do have a very strong open door policy, and that is, very well carried out. You're able to communicate with senior staff, give ideas. There's also a culture of promoting from within. So like Alex said, he was able to say, I want to do IT, and he's now being given the opportunity to do some IT. And so his role may change and grow. And also there's a lot of support if people want to grow and use this as a really good experience and then move on to other careers. I've heard about employees doing that as well. And that's important too, because sometimes people have never had work experience or never had work experience as blind people. So this is a great place to gain that experience. So now, since you know who we all are, I'd love to open it up to questions. If people want to raise their hands or type in the chat, and we'll start, you can ask questions of our panel. As long as everyone's still awake. Let's see, I have some questions.
Or it actually looks like Michael has a question.
Excellent. Great.
Michael and then Rocky.
Excellent.
So Michael, if you want to unmute, go ahead and unmute and feel free to ask your question.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi, my name is Michael O'Leary. I'm in Enfield, New Hampshire.
Excellent.
I'm wondering if your manufacturing methodology is a lean manufacturing environment.
A what manufacturing environment? I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
Lean
The-
manufacturing, yes.
Do you have an answer for that,
Yes.
Jackie?
They
Good.
do promote the lean manufacturing, and I've heard the terminology. I don't know the exact definition,
Mhm.
but that is what they do promote.
Michael, this is Rob. I work with Jennifer in Human Resources. As Jackie mentioned, we do practice lean here. Jim Curlin, our president and CEO, would just he'd be giggling with glee if he heard someone asking that question. So, you know, again, 5S and lean isn't, you know, it's a really great, valuable philosophy when it comes to manufacturing, but it's also wonderful when you're working with a manufacturing environment that includes people who are blind, visually impaired, and fully sighted. One of the ways that we promote lean is each area, every month, we have an award called the Golden Dustpan. And a group goes through with a scorecard to look at each area and rate how they're doing in terms of 5S. And the winner that month gets to display the golden dustpan, which is an oversized dustpan in their work area. So, and we continue to try to do more and more with lean. In fact, Lainey took a class about a year ago on lean and 5S. So it's an important part of our culture, and we continue to work to develop it here.
Thank you.
Thanks, Rob. And Michael, thanks for giving me something new to research.
Hi, this is Tammy.
I think-
Yeah, from Janesville. I have a question. I work at the School for the Visually Impaired in Janesville, and I work with the CCR students. So I'm wondering how we get the word out. If you guys would have speakers to come in, maybe talk to graduating classes, or how do you get the word out about your program?
We've been talking about more ways to get the word out. One way is through doing some virtual events, but yes, we're more than happy to, you know, put together groups to come and do some presentations, because we'd love to, because sometimes for those students getting ready to transition out of school, we have a student who just recently started here who didn't really want to go to college yet, wanted to do some schooling or some work. And so he started here in the assembly and packaging area. Sometimes it's a good way to gain good experience before going on to school, or even maybe while someone's in school with some call center work, you know, and going to school part-time. So yeah, we're more than happy.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it sounds wonderful.
I think that we should probably have some type of a speakers bureau. Put me on that list.
I will put you on the list.
Wonderful.
And I think Rocky, was it Rocky that had a question, Steve, as well?
Yes, Rocky has a question as well.
Yes, this is Rocky Hart. Thank you guys very much for the opportunity to participate in the career fair today. A couple of questions, actually. First of all, where is your headquarters located? I know it's somewhere within the state of Wisconsin. And also, how broad are your career opportunities? I know you're working with retail management, manufacturing, those sorts of things, but how broad is it? Because I know you have a combination of both remote and in-person positions available.
Alex, you want to talk about where we're located and a little bit like your experience of how broad we are, and then we can kind of everybody can sort of jump at it.
Yeah, definitely. So we are located in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, over on State Street. Pretty central in the city, if you ask me. We do quite a few things in the call center alone, ranging from secret shopping hotels to picking up government projects or third-party projects for seeing for people want to attend an expo. So it does range quite a bit, and I know that we do have a couple remote agents who will work on these projects fairly well. Ken and Michelle, great workers, great people I've worked with, and yeah.
All right.
Thank you.
Yeah, and as far as the broad range of career opportunities, you know, we often have, so currently we have openings in our manufacturing area, and that's of course in-person work, assembly and packaging, and possibly in the future in government products. And then we will hopefully be having some remote call center work, which I know, Rocky, you've looked into from Minnesota. We are able to possibly extend that to Minnesota, Illinois, and Wisconsin. And possibly down the road, other things may come up remotely. We often have opportunities at our base supply center stores, which we have, let's see, 2 in Illinois, 1 in Wisconsin, 1 in Minnesota, 1 in Michigan, 1 in Ohio, and 1 in California. I think I got all of them now. So we have those, so we have customer care specialists who work with those stores all cater to federal customers. And so there's different, right now we have a customer care specialist opening at Scott Air Force Base. And that store is one of our busiest stores, and it's a lot of in-person work with customers as well as phone and computer work. And then you never know what else comes down the road. So for instance, Sarah, who used to do talent acquisition, was promoted into business development. So her job came open, and that's why I'm here. I went through an interview process, and in fact, I interviewed completely virtually and then came to the job. Getting a job in a pandemic, during the midst of a pandemic, is a whole new experience. But so, we often have different professional positions available, and, someday Jim's job will be available. And if no one's promoted from within, we'll be searching from without. So, there's opportunities all through the company at different times. Does anybody else have anything to add? Lainey or Jackie on that?
And I'll just say that, we don't try to say, well, only blind people can apply to this job, or only sighted people. There's a range. Obviously, we have some direct labor ratios we need to maintain, but overall, it's just the job is open, and anybody who's qualified. Obviously, I can't be hired to be an accountant. That would be a terrible idea, but
Me too.
yes.
They won't let me drive the forklift.
Yeah.
No. So,
And we have delivery drivers for the BSCs that we have not been able to hire blind people for that role.
no, they
But
frown on that.
any other role is, anybody can apply. Lainey's role, I believe before you, a blind person was in your role. Is that right?
Correct. Yep. Mm-hmm.
So, anything is open. We currently right now have sighted people in marketing, but someday we might have blind person in marketing, you never know.
Absolutely. That would be perfectly fine, because ideas and execution are what it's about. And this is Diana in marketing, by the way. I just want to say my experience here has been tremendous, not only because everyone that I work with is kind, they truly care about the mission, but there's no limit to what anyone can do. And I've just enjoyed watching my teammates elevate through the ranks and get to experience exposure to different career opportunities, and then decide, you know what, I don't want to do that. I'd rather do this. The opportunity is there, because what we call it our career runway. So you can land or take off, and whatever direction you want to go, it's available to you. So that was my little marketing pitch to everybody. So hopefully we can expand the department, and all of you are welcome to apply.
Anyone else have questions for the panel? Or for anyone on here?
By the way, Jim Curlin just joined.
Hello, Jim. Good to have you.
Yep, we've got a question from Christopher.
Oh, excellent. Christopher, you want to unmute and ask us your question?
Hello, my name is Christopher Tavares. I'm actually from New York. I'm a soon to be graduated college student. And since I'm from New York, I wanted to ask, are there any opportunities for future remote work to grow, and part-time positions for like college students?
That is a good direction that, we may be doing. We're looking at ways we may be able to extend that remote work, and part-time college student summer jobs are another thing we've played around with. So the answer is possibly.
Okay.
Christopher, this is Rob. What did you study in college?
So I'm a mixed major. I'm about to finish my last year, so soon to be graduating in a year. So my major is 3 minors into 1 major. And I studied computer science, technical writing, and communication arts. So I have experience with communicating and using computers.
Excellent.
That's great. Thank you.
Both great
Yes.
skills. And anyone who is here, who is job seeking, even if you're not from our area, if you send me your resume at jobs@beyondvision.com, I definitely do keep things on file. I love to develop my network. I love to connect you if I hear about other opportunities. I love to connect people, but I also love to find great fits for Beyond Vision as things become open. So I definitely, they will not go into some, black hole pile. They will really go into a good filing area that I will actively be watching. So please send me resumes or give me a call, and if you don't have a resume yet, we can talk about your experience and your skills and see what we can put together.
Also, just a reminder too, feel free to type any questions if you don't feel like chatting, and we'll address any questions in the chat box as well.
Absolutely. And if anyone's on the computer and using JAWS with Zoom, it's Alt-H for the chat. And I believe on the phones now, it's under More in the phone apps, chat one under More. So I wanted to talk with Alex and Jackie about accessibility in the workplace. Do you feel, and I guess Lainey, if you have things that you've observed that show kind of a commitment to accessibility, can you talk about, Jackie, like what kinds of tools you use that make your job easier, make things more accessible for you, how that may have changed recently, or how you feel we're committed to accessibility?
I really can't say enough about our engineers. They are very talented, and they come up with some incredible ideas. And just as an example, must have been a year, maybe 2 years ago, we did a publicity campaign for Red Star yeast. And what that was is people called in for a free sample to make sourdough bread. And you got a packet of sourdough starter and a packet of yeast. And there was a folder. And the starter had to be put into the folder, and the yeast had to be put into the folder. But they had to be put in a certain way so it didn't cover the pictures, or so it didn't cover up the recipe. And I thought, well, how is a blind person going to be able to do that? And what they did is they developed a fixture that had offsets in it. And we put the yeast packet in and put some sticky tape on it, and did the sourdough starter, and then opened up the folder and put it in to the fixture. It was offset. You lined it up with a little tab and just pressed it onto the yeast packet and the sourdough starter packet, pulled it out, and they were right where they should be. And we did thousands of those.
And it didn't matter how much vision you had or anything. And it probably made it faster for anybody. Nobody had to line anything up. It was just.
And when one of the funny things about it was when that run was done, we had all these fixtures. They must have made a dozen of them. And they were made by the 3D printer that they talked about before. That's how they manufactured the fixtures to do that. And I says, now, what do you think someone is going to think 500 years from now when they find these in a landfill? They're going to say, I wonder what these were used for.
You never know what they'll come up with. Alex, do you have any comments about accessibility?
So I'm actually still pretty well sighted to where I don't use any accessibility technology as of yet, but I do know that we do focus pretty heavily on staying up to date and always trying to improve it. I've talked with Israel, our accessibility coordinator, about it. And he's always looking at new ways to improve it and always make it easier for everybody.
We do, they do take our ideas and give them much consideration. And I mean, we do simple things like we have numbers above our doors so that when you call for your transportation, you can tell them I'm at door number 1 so that you don't have to try to, oh, I'm on the east side of State Street and you'll be going to the north and it's the 4th door, but don't go in the left. You just tell them, hey, I'm by door number 1 and we've got a big number over that door. So your cab comes to door number 1 and there you are, you know. Another thing that they have done is they polish the floors in the main aisle. So people who travel with a cane, it's tactile. You can feel the smoothness on the floor and you know that you're in the main aisle and you're, you know, either on the way to a restroom or the time clock or the lunchroom. And then other areas, they have strips embedded into the concrete so that you know what direction to travel.
And you can feel those strips with your cane too, or?
Yes,
you know.
yes.
Yep.
Yeah, I'll just add, I'm, because I'm Jim's assistant, I spend a lot of time in meetings as we're making plans to renovate the new building that we've purchased. And I have to say, accessibility has been at the forefront of all of our conversations. It's not an afterthought, it's the first thing we think about. And whether that's high tech or low tech, doesn't matter. We just are looking for solutions and also providing the best environment we can for anybody, no matter what type of disability they have.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
it's real
I would
commitment.
just add on to the Laney's comments. So the new visibility center, and this is Jim, sorry. We've also contracted with a somewhat famous guy. His name is Chris Downey, and he's a guy that was a sighted architect for 25 years, and he became totally blind as a result of I think some kind of a surgery or optic nerve issue, and then became a specialist in universal design and accessibility architectural work. And he's actually on contract as a consultant to our primary architects, helping us with the universal design aspects of the building, which is integrated throughout. We have tactile wayfinding throughout the building, in the offices, in the sidewalks outside, as Jackie mentioned, we currently have that inside of our existing facility, and we have that in the manufacturing space as well. So tactile wayfinding throughout the facility, lots of light for people with low vision. So we have skylights throughout the whole factory, for example. It's going to provide lots of light, adjustable lighting in the office areas, LED lighting. So we're sensitive to the fact that some people like lots of light, some people like less light, and we try to accommodate everybody's needs. And then we're also working on, we're planning on integrating electronic wayfinding. So there's a technology out there called Blind Square, but some of you are probably familiar with, that allows a person to navigate outside using GPS signals, but they also have beacons that you can put throughout the facility inside. And as you approach one of these beacons within a certain distance, using your smartphone, the beacon can communicate, the men's room is 15 feet further on the right, and the wash basin is on the right side, and the paper towels on the left side, or whatever. You can communicate anything you want with any one of these beacons throughout the facility. So that'll definitely help people that are new to the facility or visiting the facility with electronic wayfinding as well. So working hard on it, and I think we're going to have a really premier facility when we get done. So.
And Beyond Vision is also an IRA location, which is helpful as well, especially when you're using your computer and it stops speaking, you can jump on with Ira, or, you know, that can be helpful as well. So anybody else have any last questions? We're getting near the end of our time here. We will be sending out a survey. And if you could please complete it and give us feedback on what was great, what was maybe we can improve on, and ideas for future events. We would really love to hear from you.
And Jennifer, it looks like we have one more question. Someone who is on, perfect.
Hi, this is Teresa, and I'm in Kentucky. Thank you very much for the presentation today. Very informative, and if you ever move into the Kentucky area, I'd be very interested.
Great. Well, thank you. And I would, if you've got a resume, you know, send it to me at jobs@beyondvision.com, and I will definitely keep you
I will get that
posted.
too. Yeah, I'm currently in school at McDowell Center for the Blind. I just lost my vision 2 years ago, so I just learned JAWS and Braille and all that new stuff. So it's a whole new world.
Yep, it is, but sounds like you're doing really well. You have a little one there?
Yeah, I got 3-month-old in my lap, a 3-year-old in the bed taking a nap.
Oh, that's wonderful. Brings
Yep.
back a lot of memories.
Brand-
My baby's 17, so, you know, a little bit to be in my lap now.
These are grandbabies.
Oh, that's great. All right, so we did promise you a fabulous prize. We have a drawstring bag of Beyond Vision swag to give away here. And let's see, hey Siri. So pick a number between 1 and 66.
The random number between 1 and 66
Is 1, number 1.
Oh, no. Let's see. So that is, I'm going to base it on I've been keeping track of who's on. So the first person who registered that is on the call is Ann Murphy, Missouri Assistive Technology in Maryland, Missouri.
Excellent. So, Ann, you have won our swag bag, and we will get with you and mail that out to you.
All right. Congratulations, Ann.
All right.
And we'll send a link to the recording of this.
Oh, yes. We do
To
have
everyone.
that we can send out to everyone. And I know there may have been some people that weren't able to get on the call today, and they'll receive the link for the recording as well. Really appreciate all of you being here. Thank you so much. Do any of our panel have any last parting remarks?
I enjoyed myself. I really can't say enough about this place. They've been very good to me.
Agreed.
Just come work with us. We're fun.
We are fun people.
We actually have a fun team.
We actually do. And we also have a lot of communication. I mean, communication is huge here. Every month we have an employee meeting where all the senior staff updates us on everything that's been going on, and employees have a chance to ask questions, shoot out ideas. So come work here. We love it. Thank you all so much. We will end for today, and we will have meetings in the future, and stay tuned for those.